All right, welcome to today's class that is going to be focused on leveraging technology and or social media to boost your real estate business. Also be giving away just some general tips and tricks as it relates to technology or social media. So we'll kind of go through a couple different things. I'll talk about 3 things not to do, 5 things you can do for free, and 5 things that you may want to spend money on. But to start off, it's probably important for us to begin with a disclaimer that anything digital marketing or digital advertising related has certain criteria that you must include in all of your advertising or marketing, or it needs to be one click away. So some of those things are you have to have your name on it, you have to have your contact information on it, you have to have the firm name, you need the licensees, so your office, city, and state for where your license is held, as well as your jurisdiction. That's a NAR Code of Ethics requirement, and then fair housing logo. So those either need to be within your marketing or at least one click away on social media sites or websites and stuff like that. So that's a big disclaimer. Not sure if you're supposed to start with a negative or never start with a negative, but I'm going to start with a few things I've seen brand new agents do that I think you shouldn't do. And so first thing would be, I see a whole lot of agents spend tons and tons of time designing and ordering a business card. They'll spend an entire day, maybe spend an entire week on Vistaprint just trying to figure out the best business card possible. Meanwhile, they're locked away in some sort of cubicle and not engaging with a single person to then hand these incredible business cards out to you. So don't spend a whole lot of time trying to recreate the wheel and design some cutting edge business card. Kind of use what's there, or maybe not even use anything at all. Maybe that's an easy way of engaging with somebody and saying, hey, actually, I don't have any business cards on me right now. How about I get your name and number, and I'll be sure to follow up with you. So that's my first of 3 things not to do. Second thing would be, don't spend a whole bunch of time trying to design your own website. A lot of people think that that they can create the best looking website that's better than anybody else's, and that if they do that, then business is just going to come to them. They're going to get all sorts of leads from their website. So don't get sucked into wasting a whole lot of time trying to design your own website. A bunch of different options out there that you don't need to kind of waste time there. And then third thing, and as it somewhat relates into some of this technology or social media topic, would be that I see a lot of agents wanting to do a whole bunch of direct mail. And so they want to create super good looking, graphically designed mailers and just mail out the neighborhood that they live in, the neighborhood that they like, and they want to spend a whole bunch of money on that. And in essence, traditionally it's a very small open rate, and you can accomplish a very similar goal for free by some good old-fashioned door knocking. So if you're not willing to knock on the door of the person that you're mailing to, chances are direct mail won't work either. So those are 3 things not to do. Here's 5 things that you can do that are free. And so first and easiest potentially thing to do would be to create a Facebook business page. So you most likely already have a personal page, and if you have a personal page, now it's time to step into having a business page. It takes just a few minutes to create, but it gives prospects something super and easy and quick to reference your credibility. They're going to look you up, they're going to see houses that you've sold, see how active you are, see what your latest posts are, all that stuff. So create a business page. Also nice to keep things separate from your personal page. Probably some different opinions on this, whether or not you want to post personal items on your business page or potentially business items on your personal page. But what's nice about creating that separate business page is at least now you have an outlet or a place to either only post about real estate or only post about personal items. But it's absolutely free. Another little tip here is when you do create your Facebook business page would be to invite everybody to like it. So everybody that you already know, people that you're currently working with, people that you just run into, invite as many people as possible to like and share and comment on that Facebook page. Another big advice here that's free and doesn't cost you anything is to comment and participate on other people's Facebook posts, their photos, their videos, not just a like or a heart, but writing some comment, commenting on what they're doing that is referencing them, not pointing back to yourself. So maybe have a daily habit of commenting and engaging with other people's posts, not just expecting folks to comment, engage with yours. So that's the first thing that can be done, absolutely free. Similar there is creating an Instagram profile. So the nice thing about Instagram is you can create one that's just business. You don't necessarily have to have a personal account. You can just have a business-related Instagram account. Both Facebook and Instagram, if you create the free profiles, it allows an opportunity later on for you to then do boosted ads or paid advertising on them. And so those work hand in hand. So that's why it's important to have a good Instagram account. And then similar to Facebook there, use Instagram and comment and make some notes on other people's photos and videos. Another thing that's nice about Instagram is that you can do Insta stories, and so those will expire within 24 hours, but you can post a whole lot more on Insta story on a daily basis without coming across as obnoxious or posting too much, using the feature of Insta story. And the nice thing is it just gets deleted in essence after 24 hours. So third thing you can do for free, and this is a must-have, is to create profiles on all the real estate websites that other buyers are using to engage in their home search, or that maybe you yourself have used as you've been looking at homes. And so that would be a Zillow profile, Realtor.com profile, maybe Homes.com, but wherever you think buyers are using the internet to look for homes, you need to create your own profile on there. Prospects are always looking you up. They're going to use the sites that they're familiar with, and they're going to check out your track record. They're going to see if you're legitimate, and they're going to see if they enjoy working with you. So vast majority of realtors do not have a compelling bio or updated information, and so you might be a brand new agent that your profile looks as if you sell way more and are way more active than an agent who has 30 years experience, because they've never even touched or never even updated their profiles on a Zillow or Realtor.com. So make yourself stand out there. And then another little trick is to add in all of your past sales. So traditionally on these websites, you have to do that manually. If you have a bulk of past sales, you can throw those into an Excel sheet and they can mass upload all of them, or you can go in there routinely and add a past sale as it closes. But keep that up to date, because that's going to make you look more active than other agents if you can show that you've had X amount of past sales versus the other person who hasn't put anything in there and it looks like they had 0 past sales. And then another little easy free thing to do in connection with those profiles is to ask for reviews. We're in a review economy, and a glowing endorsement of another does not cost you anything, but it can benefit you greatly. So persistently and consistently look to get good positive reviews on those different profiles. I kind of throw all of my effort into Zillow. I'm just convinced that most every buyer that I have engaged with is looking at Zillow, and so that's my first focus of getting good reviews there. But then once I create that one review on Facebook, it's an easy and free thing to do to ask them to copy and paste that onto other websites. So be relentless about reviews. Also, a little tip about these reviews is that not all reviews have to come from a past client. They can come from somebody who you're currently working with, somebody that you showed a house to, somebody that you talked about properties with, and so it doesn't necessarily have to be a past client. So if you're a brand new agent saying, well, I don't have anybody to give me reviews because I haven't really sold anything, that's not necessarily true. You can get folks who you're currently working with, folks who you talked about real estate with, and so forth and so on. Some of them do limit you where you can't have a peer or a colleague review you, but in that case you can use LinkedIn, and so you can get some reviews on LinkedIn so that you can have a peer-to-peer review or a colleague give you a good positive review. So that would be the third thing that you can do that's for free, doesn't cost you anything, and that's create good Zillow profiles and Realtor.com profiles and any other real estate related website. Make sure that your name and information is updated there. Fourth thing you can do for free is a service that I like to use is MailChimp, or there's some other email clients that are free to use. And so what MailChimp does is it sends out emails that are great looking emails, and so you can throw some pictures in there, you can throw some text, you can throw some GIF images, but you can make the email look really great, and you can email out your entire database or a segment of your database. So for MailChimp specifically, it's free up to 2,000 folks, and so until your database gets above 2,000, MailChimp is absolutely free. And then another really cool thing in MailChimp is that it gives you analytics to see who's clicking and opening your email. So now you can use the back-end analytics to see who's engaging with your emails, who's opening them, who's clicking on what, and you can use that to then strategically figure out who's it that you really need to connect to, kind of in the old-fashioned way of calls, notes, and pop buys. And so most of what we're talking about as it relates to technology and social media, it's not to replace good relational skills, it's to leverage those so that you can be more successful in real estate. So MailChimp is what I would say is a perfect example of how you can leverage technology to then further enhance the relational touches needed to be successful. So you can use those analytics, and if you include it in the last email why you should paint your house before you list it, and then you can see that there was 7 people that opened that blog article. Now you've got 7 people to kind of have on the top of your mind that you need to give them a call, send them a note, and ask them if they've considered selling, or if they know somebody who is considering selling, if they have a realtor that they'd recommend, and then therefore you insert yourself and begin that conversation. So, so that's one of the cool ways you can use MailChimp. Another way that I've used MailChimp is just to send out invites to a client appreciation party. So it goes right back to leveraging those relational touches. You can organize and use MailChimp to remind and invite folks out to a client appreciation party. Sets it up automatically so that you don't have to be the one sending an email out every single week, reminding them about an upcoming event. It's just a kind of a set and forget. So MailChimp's a good one. Fifth thing that you can do that is free would be to either write blogs, to do video blogs, maybe do a podcast, but kind of all in that same genre of kind of free publications that you can make yourself out to look like an expert. I've heard it said once that the best way to present yourself to be an expert on a topic is to be the judge of a contest within your field. Now, I don't think we're going to host any realtor contest, but the next best way to deem yourself an expert is to write and broadcast blogs. So many platforms do this, and they're mostly all free, but presenting information about real estate trends, about the real estate market, about buying, about selling, it just lifts yourself up to be an expert in the field, gives you something to post on social media, gives you something to talk to others about, and give that credibility. Now you can also cover all these in one fell swoop, where you write a blog, you record a video of the highlights about that blog, and then you link from that video to your blog, and you use the audio from the video to create a podcast. So lots of different ways that you can, in a cheap and free way, make yourself out to be a market leader, a market expert, that doesn't cost you anything. So those are 5 quick ways of how you can use technology and social media for a cost of $0. The last thing I have left is just 5 things that you could spend money on if you choose. I don't think these are must-haves. I don't think you would jump right into spending money on these things, because there's so many other ways that you can build your real estate business that cost you 0. But if you did want to spend some money, here's 5 areas or things that I think you could spend money on. First one would be, in essence, accessories. And so I'm thinking a gimbal or a stabilizer, a really good phone, wide angle lens. Those are the big 3 that kind of come to mind. But these are relatively inexpensive accessories to help make any and all of your digital advertising stand out from the others. So in today's world, I'd say it starts with having a really good phone with a good camera and has many apps and a recent technology that can be used, straight from the device and not add or upload it later. So, like for an example, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and Zillow Virtual Tour, you can't film that on a camera and then upload it later. Those features only work using your handheld device, using your phone at the time. So with that, you need to have a really good phone to make those videos look as great as possible. So for your phone or camera, it's important to have a nice lens included, or there's some great add-on lenses that you can do. Specifically for real estate, a wide angle lens is crucial. So wide angle lens will help you show off tight spaces and to enhance your photos and videos. I mean, all day long we're in different scenarios where we're maybe trying to show off a tight space, like a bathroom or even a small bedroom that serves as an office, or even be able to catch the whole viewpoint of a kitchen open concept into the family room. So usually fairly inexpensive. You can add a little wide angle lens onto your camera, or you can purchase a phone that already has some wide angle lens capabilities. So that's that one. And then another big step up is to then buy a gimbal or a stabilizer. These have been some amazing advances in the industry here to make it super simple for your average person to create smooth and stabilized videos using a gimbal. So essentially it's a handheld mechanism that you throw your phone into or your camera into. And then as you're moving, it keeps the video nice and smooth, nice and stable, versus shaking all over the place based off just normal hand tremors or shakes, or the movement of walking through a house. And so as a real estate agent, this is used a whole bunch just as we're walking properties and showing off a home. Easy thing to add, just throw it in your trunk, keep it around, so anything that comes up, you've got that gimbal or that stabilizer to work with you. So those are my big 3, but in the same topic of accessories, some other things you may look into depending on how much you're doing photos and videos is good lighting, a microphone, and a tripod. There's probably some other things there, but those are some other accessories that are relatively cheap and can just enhance your videos, enhance your photos so you can stand out from the rest. So that's my number 1 thing you can spend money on. Second thing you can spend money on is a group text messaging app. So there's several different apps out there. I would just say look around and see which is most likely to sync easiest with your phone. And you'll likely need to organize your contact list into groups. So you may have, if you divide your clients into A pluses, A's, B's, C's, you might want to create a different distribution group or different contact group accordingly. Or you may say, okay, I want to have a group for all of my folks in Hanover County versus all my folks in Chesterfield County. But you'd organize those contact lists, and then most apps have a function to import those contacts or to pull straight from your phone. And then most of these apps also have a function where you can insert the client's names into those text messages, and so you can make it come across as a more personal text message. Biggest advantage here is that you can text message hundreds of people within the matter of seconds. potential word of advice there is just be prepared to respond to a ton of responses all at once. Because if you send out 100 text messages, there's a good chance a large majority of them are going to respond to you, and you just need to be in a spot where you can also keep engaging with them and keep responding to them. So very similar to a group text messaging app is that there are several websites out there and services out there where you can send and drop tons of voicemails all at once. So I've used Slide Broadcast, but there's some other voicemail drops that same thing with the group text messaging. You can send hundreds of voicemails out all within a matter of minutes. So same thing with the group text message. You just need to be prepared to respond to phone calls or text messages after that voicemail goes out. But what I've seen on most of these websites is you can also schedule it. So you might be able to do the recording and create your list first thing in the morning, but then have the email, or have the voicemail scheduled to be delivered, 4 o'clock on Wednesday, knowing that you're available for the rest of the day on Wednesday to respond to any calls or text messages. So another little tip on if you're going to do a big voicemail drop or like a robocall like that is that there's probably 2 tactics. You can either make it sound super real and personal, and I've experimented with that some, and just try to trick people into them thinking that this was a very individualized, specific voicemail for them, and that's worked. And then I've also done it where I just straight up acknowledge that this is a robocall and I'm trying to get a lot of information out to a lot of different people. So you have to kind of know what your own comfort level is there, or how you want your marketing or your branding to go out. But either way, it's an easy way to send out hundreds of voicemails in a few minutes. So that's the third thing you can spend money on. I usually have used Slide Broadcast, but they have other competitors that offer similar services. Fourth thing, this somewhat goes back to one of the things not to do, which is not to try to recreate your own website, and instead just spend a little bit of money using Hometown's provided website through DeltaNet. So Hometown's already got a service agreement. They already have stuff in place with an existing provider. It's relatively low cost, and the beauty there is it adds it onto Hometown's main company website, and then it links straight to your own personal page. So with that, they already have themes that are easy to drop in place, and you don't need to know code or HTML code or anything like that. You don't really need to be all that tech savvy. It has capabilities where you can make it as extensive as you'd like, and you can really tweak it if you prefer, but you can also make it as simple as possible so that there's really not a lot of work that goes into it. So I wouldn't spend a whole lot of time trying to do something from scratch. Just spend a little bit of money that's already set up for us and use once provided. And then also what you can do, a little trick here would be you can purchase your own URL. So you can purchase TommySabiga.com, and then you can link that to Hometown's website through DeltaNet. So that'd be the fourth thing. And then the fifth thing would be to pay for some sort of CRM system. And so I typically don't recommend this for a brand new agent. I'm more of the type that I just like the old-fashioned either note cards or an Excel sheet to keep track of clientele and prospects. But eventually you should be reaching a point where your business has grown enough that your past clients increase, that your pending transactions increase, and at that point I think it's a great time to invest into a CRM. So CRM basically is just database management so that you can keep everybody in one place, you can have all their contact details in one place, and then depending on which CRM you use, you can develop different plans and action items of how you want to follow up with those folks. So the name of the game for real estate is to be top of mind. This systemizes a way for you to make sure that you are top of mind to other folks. So I would say ask around others on which CRM they use and ask them what they like about it. And maybe experiment some, research some, see what features are the most important to you as you're building your business, and then pick a CRM. And then almost on all these CRMs, they have it where you can import your spreadsheet. So if you start using a spreadsheet, which is good, then you already have it in one place and you can import it into your CRM and get it up and rolling. And then I would say my last little tip here is once it's up and running, to use it and to use it every day. It's a management system to help keep you disciplined, to help give you some routine in how you're following up with folks. So once you have that CRM, to go ahead and use it. So there's probably a whole lot more that could be said about technology, about social media. It's going to be constantly changing. Even just this last week, brand new iPhone came out with new features, and so it's something that you will need to stay on top of. But just as another reminder, it's not to be a replacement for relational skills. It's not to be a replacement for taking folks out to lunch, meeting them for coffee, writing them handwritten notes, giving them phone calls to check in, see how they're doing. But it's used to be a leverage point to increase your ability of reaching a lot more people a lot more frequently in a systemized way. So hope that helps, and we'll keep checking in and talk soon.